Hello everyone. How are you? Hope all is well with you all and you and your families are doing okay. Guys, if my voice sound a bit off, I'm just recovering from the flu. There's a terrible flu going around and it has run a rampage through my household. So just be careful out there. Wear your mask and get your vitamin C's. Drink your bush tea. Get out your lemon and your honey and your rum or whatever you are used to using to help to keep it off. It's not a nice feeling, trust me. Well, guys, the moment we anxiously awaited the bittersweet justice for Melissa Silvera, with all the crap that went down, there's absolutely no way Jolyan Silvera could have said he is not guilty. It is just absolutely sad that is not capital murder he is charged for, instead a lesser sentence of manslaughter, and that plea was accepted by Justice Sykes. When you really think about it, it was the best thing that he could have pleaded. Worse, when you think about all the others, the enablers who were involved in the case and were on the murder scene. Do they want their names to be called up in the case? Hell no. It's something I guess they want to forget. But just bear in mind, there's just certain things that you do in your life that can't rub out. You can't never did do what you done do already. Because anyhow, it had to be proceeded to a trial. Too much would have to be revealed. And many big wigs would risk their careers and their statuses. When you think about people like all little bit of blood that was swearing on all our life and every cell in our body for this man, while knowing that he did it. When you think about her, yes, she with her own mouth said she even helped dress Melissa. Oh gosh, all them people that sleep at night time. When you think about it, even allegations about the first person he called, who is a prominent politician, yeah, and all this covering up, they don't want all that to be revealed. Remember all the prominent politician who was one who bought all the bed, because as soon as Melissa crime scene was cleared, they start the changes in the house, change bed, change furniture, change tile, and he got helped from loads of people who now will escape being revealed in court. Guys, don't forget, remember the known cleanup crew who was on the scene? Them don't want no talking about that. They don't want their names to be called. When you think about a little bit of blood who helped dress Melissa Silvera because it was said that she was naked, how could it be legal to disturb a crime scene without the proper investigations and due diligence done? These people have their own laws to protect them. There's not one law in Jamaica. Remember, one of the so-called doctors who was a part of the clique of cleanup crew, which helped to confirm that Melissa died peacefully in her sleep. Oh my God. How them people sleep good at night time? Chances are very well, Chances are very well. Because them heart hang outside. But I always tell people this. Just remember, you can hide from man, but you can't hide from God. So you can stay there, pull wool over people's eyes, but you can't hide from God. And everybody will have to wake up to them 6 o'clock. When I think of some of the stories these enablers help to put out in the media of all the excuses how Melissa could have lost her life, when they fully well know Jolyan Silvera did it. I remember one of the time little bit of blood was saying that Melissa got shot through the window, her bedroom window. Yet there was no broken or cracked glass. And where she lived, where would you stay, even as a sniper, to shoot her through her window? Absolutely ludicrous. You lot who ate and drink at Melissa's house. Just bear in mind, the house Jolyan Silvera lived with Melissa Silvera, was her mother home, that she inherited, as she was an only child for her mother, who was one wealthy woman who left everything to her one daughter. And Jolyan Silvera benefited from it, because all Jolyan Silvera had was name and status, but there was no money. He was totally living off Melissa Silvera. The audacity. What I find interesting, is how quick Justice Sykes accepted Jolyan Silvera's plea of manslaughter to a most outrageous unaliving of his own wife. Yet when you look back and C4 worked with the police to arrest one of the most notorious gang and their leader in Spanish Town with arms all over Jamaica, gang leader Blackman was most feared, responsible for many lives lost, extortions and robberies. C4 worked with the police to arrest the gang, only for Justice Sykes to throw a fit that he wanted C4 to be arrested too and put behind bars because he is a criminal too. The DPP had to stand up strong and resist in explanation that they had an arrangement that he was working with the police undercover to nab the gang. Remember Sir P introduced us to C4? Big up and salute to Sir P always. And now here we have a man, Jolyan Silvera, who shot his wife in her sleep, in her vaggie. Yo, yet he get to plead manslaughter so easily, and that was accepted by the judge, Justice Sykes. I hate this kind of justice. No camera in court, no reporters, no jury, just one judge that can make his own decision without being questioned. Jackass said they were no level at all, while the enablers who agreed and aid in the cleanup and tampering with the crime scene walks away like that. Think about it. Even Jolyan Silvera, personal police friend who was first on the scene, was alleged to be paid to help with the cover-up, only to get transferred. How horrific this is. Because just remember, that Melissa Silvera was hours away from being cremated, where no evidence could be found again, and all these people knew, because remember her eventual funeral, she was put in a casket. No, Jolyan Silvera had everything prepared, cremate her. If it wasn't for PJ Patterson, who had close relationship with her mother and already knew of the happenings that going on in Melissa and Silvera's relationship. They already knew he's been abusive to her. They already knew he was a hothead. They knew this, and he stood out and said, let a proper autopsy be done. Another autopsy was done, and that is when we get these findings, and it just slapped right down to manslaughter. And this man can come out and say anything and say, she annoy me, she had do this, or she had do that, and so on. And that is the reason why he did this to her. They were in an argument and she said hurtful things. And so guess what? Him stand up there now. And she saying hurtful things. And he just did this to her. You can imagine that? What about the talks? Because as really and truly, there's a saying, dead man tell no tales, and it's true. Because right then and there, who is coming out to speak for Melissa that Jolyan Silvera is a known bar hopper, always drunk, always drinking, and coming in and he beat up Melissa and so on and things. He was at home. Melissa left him and the helper there with the son that passed away by drowning. And when she come home, the child was deceased. Yet he was home and with the helper. Lord knows what he was doing. Or could he have been under another drink? You understand? You know what does to a woman? Especially she's blessed with being mothers of boys. You put so much into your children and so on and things. And you don't know this man is, you just say like a waste man, never drink and do foolishness. And you just trust him to left him with your son, which is his son also. And this happened. After all, if they're arguing and she was to even mention that, what would have caused this to come up? There's a saying that, he wanted to go on the road and he would say he was going to a meeting and she was saying him not going anywhere. Yeah, probably no one go to the rum bar again. Who knows? And she's saying she's tired of this and whatever and so on. You get what I'm saying? And it's so easily. He never stopped to think of the children. You understand? Because he's saying in part of his speech in court that the reason why he continued with not being guilty is because he was thinking about the children, knowing that he did this to their mother. Dude, why that thought never come in your mind before you pull the trigger? That, you know what, let me just leave. Let me leave and go cool out somewhere because she's a mother and my children and she is my ATM as well. Because truth be told, that is the situation. You know what I mean? Who knows in the circle knows. You get what I'm saying? It is absolutely painful that this man don't go to the gallows. And on top of it, no respect for the deceased wife because he is tarnishing her name to save himself, making look like she was the aggressor and so on. Anybody know Melissa? No, she was a gentle soul. And she not in an argument for go cuss and tell him no expletive and all of them something. And I say people won't say stuff. But she's not a warmonger. She's not them kind of person. Well, if you deal with Jolyan Silvera drunk and coming and abusive, you have to try to have some kind of reaction. But she's never been an aggressor. She just got married to the wrong man. And you know, these arranged marriages where, because him family come from family with status and she come from family with status and them all involved in high society life, let's put them together. Those relationships, a lot of them is so unhappy. It's such an unhappy situation because at the end of the day, the natural love process could never have been there for him to just get up and feel like he could have done this to Melissa. I tell you, man, angry is not the word how I feel, believe me. Remember this same man, he's so lazy, and when another politician, member of parliament, complained to Portia Simpson Miller at the time and told her that he's lazy based on the constituents that he's in charge of, and so on. Somehow he found out which member of parliament, his own group of people, He went to the man yard and allegedly take out the man dog and leave it at him gate and tell him to just remember, say, next time it won't be the dog. You know what kind of man that? Sister, is a hot-head man that. Of all of these things that he has done, and people just, not even people, like the justice system really bring down his case from should be capital murder to manslaughter, or could it be because if it go to the trial, all the big wigs and top personalities whose name would get called and will be dragged in it before the court and the people of Jamaica to blatantly see, and other people from all over the world to see, they sacrifice the memory and life of Melissa by not giving her full justice. This justice is not completed with just holding Jolyan Silvera and sending him to prison. All those involved who turn the country upside down in terms of how this healthy, strong young woman passed away peacefully in her sleep while knowing fully well that was not the case. And look how horrific of a situation it was. Now we're hearing about the other argument. Even a little bit of blood, and other politicians they were on the scene were saying that when they reached there, Jolyan Silvera was not there. We're not ashamed. But remember karma. Remember when I have children. Remember say, if it not happen in a lifetime, if it not suffer before and pass on, it will go down to the children. Because this is justice unfinished. Remember, they were also trying to put out rumors that she was having an affair and that she and someone else must have been at home because Jolyan Silvera was not there. Tarnishing Melissa Silvera's name. Melissa Silvera never deserved this kind of unaliving. When you think about the children, how does these children go through life knowing their father is the one that took out their mother? Jesus, Lord, guide and protect them. This is traumatizing, This will be in the news, Digital footprints will be out there, These children will have to deal with this, And when you talk about mother, she was a real involved mother. And from the little time that they spent with her, because I'm still young, they would have experienced a love like no other from their mother. So for me, Jolyan Silvera confessing to manslaughter without his enablers who helped to clean up the crime scene and pronounced her died peacefully in her sleep is justice incomplete. He used to treat Melissa Silvera so bad, worse when he can't get control of her assets. This man was always a time bomb. This man was always a time bomb. And his comrades, enablers, fully well know about it. And the audacity to team up to help to tarnish Melissa's name like she was cheating on him, when all this woman decided to do is just focus on her children, because the man was giving her a problem. He was a lot to handle. All she wanted to do is just to protect her children. Because just remember, he was in charge of one of the sons left at home, and he did not protect that child. That child passed on in his care. So can you imagine what that does to her mother? So her whole focus is to protect her children and protect them from him, because the true story has never been told, Do you know how she must be feeling inside to carry that in her mind all the time, the loss of her child? I have to say this again, thanking God for ex-Prime Minister, the Honorable P.J. Patterson, as he was the best friend to Leslie, Melissa Silvera's mother. And may I tell you, he made sure that some form of justice was done on Jolyan Silvera, held responsible. Maybe we wanted more, but we're going to watch and see his sentencing next week. Let us see what will be the sentencing. And trust me, I don't have high hopes for it to be a lengthy sentence either, because the fact that he didn't waste the court's time, plus he was in there, I think around 2 years now, they're going to deduct all that. Chances are the little vacation he's going to get, he'll be out in time to be at his children's graduation. I'm telling you, that is not fair. Me I tell you, God intervene, believe me, please. You know what I want to know? Some of his enablers are parents of big children who can't get married or soon get married. Would you want your daughters to marry somebody like Jolyan Silvera? And would you be happy to know that if something was to happen to your girl child, the man who is a husband or the boyfriend can do something like this and just get away with it free? If the shoes was on the other foot, would you willingly accept this as being okay to cover up if it was your own child or daughter, I should say? When you think about it, some of you are women and you help to cover up what Jolyan Silvera did to Melissa. Many of you who are involved have respectable careers. You lot should lose your license and status and put before the courts. But truth be told, from there will be no trial. You lot have gotten away scotch-free in essence. It's just that who knows you lot were a part of the cover-up. Just bear in mind, the people of Jamaica will always remember you lot involvement in this injustice. We know Tom drunk but Tom no fool. We know that his excuses for why he took up Melissa is pure exaggerated and lied story. And we're not stupid. We know when a situation has been exaggerated to fit into a criteria to save himself, to make himself look better. At the end of the day, Chief Justice Sykes has accepted his guilty plea for manslaughter and using a firearm to commit a felony. On Monday the 9th of February 2026, Jolyan Silvera was to begin his trial in the gun court, but since he copped the guilty plea of manslaughter, citing constant provocation from his wife Melissa, the lesser charge of manslaughter is accepted, his sentencing range between 3 to 20 years based on certain laws. But remember, they gave Vybz Kartel 35 years to life. I am so wanting to see what will Jolyan Silvera get in his sentencing, because we know they are going to take into consideration his time spent in prison and the fact that he free up the resources of the justice system without making it go to a long trial. I can bet how long his sentence will be, because based on his connection, I can't see him getting the maximum. I would wish for a life sentence, but we will never see that in this case. So now we look forward to sentencing that is set for March 6, 2026. When I think about his other cronies who were on the scene and tampered with the crime scene, and how they're just going to walk as if nothing happened, it just reminds me the laws of the land is only for poor people, and rich people don't have to adhere to any laws. In my heart, this is justice incomplete. This is one of them stories that rocked me to the core from the beginning. And just bear in mind, if the person who got involved with the case, PJ Patterson, never have status, we all would just mourn the loss of Melissa and pondered in our mind how such a healthy, strong woman just passed away peacefully in her sleep. Melissa Silvera, you are gone, but will never be forgotten. And may God guide and protect your children. And I hope that by the time that man to come out of prison, Jolyan Silvera, he has no charge over his children's lives. They are old enough to be able to separate themselves from him. Melissa was just such a simple giant. May your soul rest in peace. Guys, comment in the comment section, how long do you think Jolyan Silvera will get, based on the fact that it is a case of manslaughter? 1, he has links. 2, because 3 is covering for the other people who doesn't want the name called, and the fact that it is a rich people crime. Anyway guys, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to my platform, please. Love you all. Bye for now.